Alright, I'm going to show how to set up a Windows VM virtual machine on Google Cloud Platform that you can remote into and use kind of like it's your own, like you do on your own Windows computer. Um, First thing you want to do is open the web browser. I'm using Google Chrome and search for GCP or just Google Cloud Platform. And it should bring you or show this link first, cloud.google.com. You can click on that. It'll bring you to this page where it'll say get started for free. And if you click on that, it'll bring you to, it'll either make you sign in, or if you're already signed in, it'll bring you to a sign up form, unless you've already signed up. But it should bring you to a sign up form to fill out. That'll ask for your credit card and some information. You do have to like verify that your address and all that to make sure that you're, you know, one person per trial, I guess. And once that's done, um, it will bring you back to this page here, and you can then click go to console either here or click it up here. If that doesn't bring you back to the page, just reload and this URL, and it should bring you back and be updated. So when you do add the credit card, it will start charging you after you've used the 300 or whatever amount of free credits they give you at the time that you sign up. So after you use that free credit, it will start charging your card. So just make sure to monitor how much of the free credit you've used, and don't go over that unless you want to get charged. And okay, so on this page again, just click go to console here or up here, console. Once you click on that, it should bring you to a page that looks like this. Yours might say like my first project or something like that up here. And you want to go to this navigation menu here, so click on that and go to Compute Engine, and then click on VM Instances. Once you click on that, it'll bring you to this page, and you might see a message here that says it's getting it ready, and it'll take like a minute. Just let that finish, and once that's finished, you can go ahead and create one. There's also a quick start guide you can walk through that basically does the same thing I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it a couple different settings. So just follow along here. And so you just need to click create here to create your instance. And you have a bunch of different options here. I would recommend renaming this to something other than instance, something more meaningful, generic. I'll just call it computer one or whatever. You can name it whatever you'd want. And then pick a location where you want to, basically this will be just where it connects to Google's resources. So it's up to you how you want to, which region you want to choose. It might affect the IP address you get on the computer. So if you need an IP address that's in a certain location, choose that location, although I'm not sure if that helps or not. But yeah, so that's that. The zone doesn't really matter. I would just go with whatever it gives you by default. And then general purpose is fine. Series, you can choose whatever you want. I used N1 for the one I have. For a lot of purposes, you can use just this N1 standard for basic stuff, or bump it up depending on what you want. If you look at the pricing though over here, like the lowest one, N1 standard, which is one CPU, is about 25 bucks a month. That's before you add on Windows, so it'll be even more once you add on Windows. So just mess around with those, and whenever you find a price and a one you're comfortable with, then choose that one. I'm just going to go with this one for now. And then since we're doing Windows, you want to change this, so click on change for the boot disk. and scroll down to the section that has a bunch of Windows stuff. So you want, you can really choose any of these. For mine, I just chose Windows Server 2019 Data Center, the newest one. Just make sure whichever one you choose, it says Server with Desktop Experience. So you don't want to choose one that doesn't have that. I chose this one, Windows Server 2019 Data Center. So don't choose the one that says for containers, don't choose the one that says core. Make sure it says with desktop experience, whichever one you choose. I think the free or the guide has you use this one. But yeah, I use this one. And then you can choose the size of the disk that you're going to use, like the hard drive that you're going to use, connect to on your virtual machine. I'm just going to go with the default 50 gigs. It should be good. I think it's pretty cheap. You can look up the pricing on that. It's a separate price. I think one thing that's cool about it is if you do ever want to change your VM, you can just attach your disk to the new VM, I believe. But anyways, you hit select. And then down here, I selected both of these. The guide has you only do the top one, but I think both of them are fine. You can leave all these settings defaults. And again, if you go up here, you can see once we added Windows, the monthly charge is basically more than double. So then you hit create. And then you just have to wait for that to be created. And while that's happening, so it gives you a check mark here, like it worked, and it gives you an IP, but I found it takes a little bit longer. So I would wait probably another minute even after you get that, and wait for like this thing to stop spinning up here. And while we're waiting, though, we can we can set a user. So you click on this RDP. And if you don't see RDP here, you probably chose the wrong type of operating system. So just go ahead and create instance and redo that. But select this arrow and set Windows password. And it will pop up a box with a username. There'll probably be one already entered for you. And then what you want to do is just, you can use that one. I recommend you use a generic one. I'll just use like, I don't know, Eagle or whatever. Just anything you want, and hit set. And you could read about what it means to use one that already exists, but we're going to use a brand new one. And you can hit set. And this is just like basically creating a Windows account on the remote computer, the virtual machine. And it'll give you this password. So you want to copy this. And once that's copied, you can just hit this button to copy it. It'll be on your clipboard. I'll just throw it in a notepad for now so I don't lose it. And that will be your password. I don't think you could set your own. They just give you one. You could always reset it if you need to. But you close that, and to reset it, you would do the same process and then just enter the username that you had before. Or make a new user or whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so once you have that set, you have the username Eagle, the password, or whatever username you chose. You just mark this IP. And since I already have that password in my clipboard, I'll just I'll type this IP address manually instead of copying it. And you could go down to your Windows. Let me actually fix this so it's shown here. So go down to your Windows search and type remote. Desktop connection should pop up. So that's 34, 66, 139, 25, and hit connect. And if you're having trouble connecting, I had some issues connecting before, and it was because I had to enable or verify something, and that will appear on this page here, and it will be like at the very top above this blue menu, or maybe right below it. And you have to hit like enable or accept or something like that. But if you're able to connect, then don't worry about it. And so the username will be Eagle, and I'm going to paste in the password. and hit OK. And you can read this, but basically you can just ignore it and hit yes. And what this will do is open up a remote desktop session that you can basically use as if you're using your own computer. And I'll go through a couple things to set up on there once it loads. And once it loads the first time, usually it's faster. The times after that just takes a minute for the first time. So this doesn't really matter what you chose. I'm gonna say no, but choose whatever you want there. This is whatever, you can just close this. I'm gonna not show that anymore and close it. And this server manager is gonna load every single time you log into your remote computer. You can use this to install certain things like .NET Framework 3.5. I think a program I was using needed that, and you can install it through this server manager as opposed to how you would normally do it in Windows. But I'm just going to close this here, and you can just close it whenever it opens when you log in. And you can leave this on your desktop. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm not going to use it. One thing I would just recommend setting up is it comes with Internet Explorer, I think is the default browser. I really don't want to use that. You can just click ask me later here or whatever. I'm not going to use it anymore. I usually just right away I can search for Firefox here, whatever. And there's all sorts of restrictions. Just go ahead and just keep hitting close when you see that. As soon as we get Firefox on here, we won't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go here, this Mozilla org, keep hitting close when these pop up, and then click Windows 64-bit. Now, this one that pops up, once you click that, you're going to need to copy this. And if you already closed it, that's fine. Just click on it again, and it'll pop up again. And then copy this. So Control C on your keyboard to copy it. Then you can close it and go to these tools, Internet options, and go to Security, Trusted Sites, Sites, and paste that in there and hit Add and close and OK. And now, once you've done that, you can click on this and it will allow you to download Firefox. I'm going to save it and hit, you could either hit run or whatever. I'm just going to hit open folder so I could see where it's saved, and go ahead and close out Internet Explorer. I'm basically never going to use that again once Firefox is installed. Just gonna double click on that. You might have to click down there to open this message up and hit yes. Alright, now that Firefox is installed, from now on you can just use this and ignore Internet Explorer. Maybe even just remove it from the taskbar. Right click on it, unpin from taskbar if you want. Okay, and then whatever, you can just ignore this. I always just open up a new tab and close these, and you're good to go. Alright, and then Firefox again is down here, ready to be used. And from here, oh yeah, so you might see this, use Firefox as my default browser. That's good. If you don't get that message, you could also change your default browser by just clicking the search and typing in default. And go to default apps. I think there is an option to choose your default web browser as well. And then go down to web browser and switch it to Firefox. But if you click this, I think it would do the same thing. So, and that's so if any other apps try to open a web browser, it'll open Firefox instead of Internet Explorer that has all those security restrictions built into it. That should be a good basic setup. And then again, if you need to install anything else, I recommend downloading it from Firefox. I will show how to add like the .NET framework as well. So again, that was in Server Manager. So you could just open that up from the Start menu, or again, it also opens up when you log in, and go to Add Roles and Features. Okay, guess we have to wait for a second. All right, and then try it again. And we want to go to installation type and role-based or feature-based installation. Hit next. Server selection. So we can just skip these menus and just go down to features and click this box here, .NET Framework 3.5 features. Like I said, I had a program that needed that, so you might need this as well. If you're getting pop-ups that say you need this, then this is how you do that. And hit next. And then just hit install. I'll go ahead and do that now. I'm actually not going to let this installation finish, but basically it'll just finish and you can close this and that's fine. So when you're done on your computer, I've always just closed out of it on here, and it basically closes the remote connection, and then just stopped it from the Google Cloud Platform menu. I haven't really tried to power it down or anything. I don't know, maybe that's a better way to do it, but yeah, I've always just hit this close up here and hit OK, and then you'll see it's still running, and while it's running, it's charging your account, so it's using those free credits. So just be aware of that. As soon as you're done using it, you probably want to shut it down or stop it. It's like turning off your computer, and then it will not be charging you. It'll charge you still for using the hard drive, but I don't think the rest of it will be charged. Any other part of it will be charged. So you do that by hitting these three dots here and stop. And you could read that warning there and hit stop. And then you'll see this is you'll see this message. You'll see this spinning up here. You'll get a notification as soon as it's stopped, and it'll show here as well. And as soon as that's done, then that's all there is to it. I've had it. I don't know if I forgot to stop it before or if it automatically started to install updates, but I would just check it every day or so to just make sure it doesn't turn on by its own. Again, that might have been me just forgetting to shut it down before. I'm not sure, but it was running overnight one time. And it should take about less than a minute to completely stop. One other thing to look at too is that IP address might change. This external IP address. It depends on how long you've had it stopped and other things, but it might change. So if you're not able to connect, come back in here and check if this IP address is different than what it was before when you connect with remote desktop. So as soon as this is done, if you ever want to come back in and start using it again, you just need to go to Start and start it, and then go to remote Windows Remote Desktop, and then log back in like we did before originally.